Italian Kitchen, Penns Grove, NJ. Special guest judge Chrissy. She's judging cheesesteaks, letting me film her, doing her own social media, and giving great critiques of the cheesesteaks. Giving great critiques because she called this a great traditional cheesesteak, and I'm pretty sure if we go back 2 years to my very first best of list, Italian Kitchen was listed as my number one traditional cheesesteak. Yes, I am patting myself on the back. Here I go. And here's Chrissy and I at Italian Kitchen, Penns Grove.
The best traditional cheesesteaks, and I'm
March
excited to try it
cheesesteak
because I am a
madness.
cheesesteak purist, and
Guest eater,
it's
Chrissy.
hard to impress me.
Video,
And
everything,
we're
or every
gonna see what's happening.
covering social media from every angle.
Italian Kitchen, here we go. I like the way that the meat is caramelized. I like the cheese melted throughout. Most likely from Philly Cheesesteak Company. But I like that it's chopped. I like that the meat is actually exploding out of the roll. And I can tell this is a nice Lisios or Amoroso roll because of the crackles in the outside of it. So I'm looking forward to trying this because it looks like a very legitimate front runner. Get this. So this looks like a legitimate cheesesteak. I'm looking forward to this one. It looks like it's going to be a front runner. Oh, Jesus. And this is a small? Let's see.
Since your video in, I think it's fair game. So it's fair game to video while you eat.
It's a very traditional cheesesteak. It's packed, it's good. It could use a little bit more salt, in my opinion. Lots of good cheese melted throughout. Nice fine chop on the mushrooms and the onions, and it's good. It's a very good, basic traditional cheesesteak, but it definitely needs some salt. That's my only complaint.
The Classy Cow Food Joint, Logan Township, NJ. I love this place, and this last time I was there, I got to know Eddie a little bit and hear his story, and I liked it. Just a country boy trying to make it good in Logan Township, and he seems to be doing well because he cares, and you can tell he cares. And he gets got a nice eclectic mix of treats and his menu, and I get the question all the time, what is the difference between a good cheesesteak and a great cheesesteak? And it's the love put into the cheesesteak by the chef. And you can tell Eddie cares, and it comes through in everything he does. I ruined his day. I was running late, and he got busy, so he wasn't able to make his own video. So I took some extra pictures around the place because I enjoy it at the Classy Cow Food Joint.
March cheesesteak madness. New Jersey, Delaware bracket. I think we're in Swedesboro. I think it's going to rain or snow. Classy Cow. Guest. Special guest judge. She was raised on tasty cakes and cheesesteaks. Cooking from the heart. Is that what they said on national TV about you? Cooking from the heart, you cook because you love to.
Yeah, well, when I pretended to have a heart.
You cooked from your back when you had one?
Yeah, season 4 supervillain.
Nice. Classy Cow, guest eater.
All right, so first impression is it's a little skimpy. I like when the meat is, bulging out of the roll, but it is a seeded roll, and they are a little bigger, so I can see that. Meat looks chopped up nice. I like the caramelization right there. I like that the mushrooms and the onions are chopped up with the meat, and cheese melt looks good. You can tell that they put the cheese on, let it melt a little bit, and then threw the roll on. So, looks good. Let's check it out.
She picked up the meat with that finger. She wasn't giving me the finger.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to taste the meat before, you know. The meat has some decent flavor on it. I dig it. It's got good flavor. The meat is very soft and tender. It's not like, not bristly. It's definitely quality cheesesteak meat. Got the cheese melted throughout, nice and juicy, tender. I dig it. Pretty good. Pretty good incorporated in there. And the roll is actually nice and soft. It's not a chewy roll, like seeded roll that you would get on a hoagie, but and it works really well with the cheesesteak. It's good. It's definitely good. Okay, so these were two pretty traditional cheesesteaks. Classy Cow, really cool vibe, neat little shop, a lot of little, you know, interesting things like funky jerkies and, you know, scorpion candy. Cool story about the owner. You know, he came from North Carolina, opened up a cheesesteak shop, and it's a good cheesesteak. And you know, I would eat it again. I really like the special touches of the seeded rolls being a little underbaked, so that they could toast them up themselves. That made all the difference, because it made the pleasure of having a seeded roll work with the cheesesteak. Usually when you get a seeded roll and a cheesesteak, it's very hard, and it's hard to appreciate the cheesesteak. They've executed that process perfectly. Cheese melted throughout. The mushrooms and the onions were cooked separately, but what made them good is that after they were cooked separately, they weren't just tossed in. They were actually chopped in and worked through. And you could really see the caramelization, and that made it good. The meat was tender, it was chopped fine, it was really juicy, it had like a buttery flavor to it, but it was a little skimpy, you know? It wasn't busting at the seams. Now, Italian Kitchen. If you are a traditionalist like me with your cheesesteak, Italian Kitchen is the cheesesteak for you. Busting at the seams. I mean, just huge. And it was a small cheesesteak, and it was just bursting through the roll. You could tell that their grill was a little too high, because the meat was a little dry, and it was chopped up not as finely. And it made the cheesesteak meat feel like frozen cheesesteak meat, because it was cooked at such a high temperature. All of the moisture was kind of cooked out of it. You know, kids behind the counter, probably high school, they don't really care too much. So there was no extra touches, but you can tell that this has been a cheesesteak that has worked for them for years. You know what you're getting when you come in. It's consistent, and it's a really good corner store neighborhood cheesesteak. So if I had to choose between the two of them, Italian Kitchen, definitely.
Thank you.